Hello, and welcome to this online video webinar for the COMM 1101 argumentative speech. Today we are going to go over reviewing the bill that you have found, how to take a look at it and figure out what your keywords might be for your searches, where to search on the library's website, and go over some other information that can be useful for you speech. So first we're going to take a look at the legislative bills for this current session. These are the bills in bill number order. And today we are going to be taking a look at House Bill 415. So far, this has not yet been signed into law. It is still going through the process, and you can see where it is in the process. The last time any action was taken was the first part of February, so almost a month ago. To see the full bill, you would click on Bill Text. This will give you the entire text of the bill, which you need to read through what is being either added as a new bill or amended. In this case, this is an amended bill. Anything that is underlined is being added to the current bill, and anything that has a strike through is being removed or changed. So here, the numbering here is changing because of all of the text that is being added. So once we understand what the bill is relating to, what kinds of things are being changed and how that's going to affect the population of the state, we then go and try to figure out a search strategy. And where we're going to primarily do our searching is here in OneSearch, but we also have some preliminary research that we need to do. And we're going to start over here with the subject guides. The library has created a subject guide specifically for COMM 1101. So we would go into the select a guide and hopefully remember our alphabetical order. And here we have COMM 1101 workshop. So we select the COMM 1101 workshop and we hit go. And this will open the guide for the workshop. When we are doing in-person workshops, this is where you would register for an in-person workshop. This semester, we are only doing this video. So here we have our getting started. This is where you would come to get started with your research. The first thing you will probably want to do is do some background searching. What does the topic mean? What are the main points in the bill that might be explained in some encyclopedias? Or we have this resource here called CQ Researcher that was specifically purchased as an online resource for COMM 1101 for some of the features that it has. CQ Researcher, it's essentially a magazine that publishes approximately once a week and on a topic of current interest. So if we were going to search for anything that might be related to our bill, which is concealed carry of guns in schools, we could just do a very broad search, say on guns. It pops up some suggestions. There's a report called Guns on Campus. So we can take a look at this. This is from 2017, was when a lot of bills were written allowing guns on college campuses. The current bill in the Idaho legislature is proposing to allow concealed carry of weapons in K through 12 schools. But this can give us some information about the talking points that were made there at the time in 2017. One of the primary points of interest in the CQ Researcher articles is this pro-con section. This can give you some ideas of how to create the opposite point of the one that you're trying to make by seeing how the people, these are usually experts in related to the topic. The con is the campaign to keep guns off campus, and the person who's writing the pro side is a member of an organization called Students for Concealed Carry. So this is the way that these articles are constructed. So you might want to, even if you can't find an article within CQ Researcher specifically on your topic, take a look at some of the pro-con sections in some of the other articles to kind of get an idea of how this works. We've also got some related articles. So here's one on school safety from 2019 that might be of interest with our particular topic. So you can take a look at that one as well. Another thing, so there's several different sections. You've got the outlook. There's also footnotes and a bibliography. Anytime you have an article, you want to take a look at the resources the author of the article used and see if they can be useful for your topic. That way you don't have to do the heavy lifting because it has already been done for you. So let's go back to our research getting started. And so there's the CQ Researcher. Newsbank is a series of newspapers you might consider, although the articles in Newsbank are also included in the results from OneSearch. There's a guide here, tips for how to plan your keyword searching. Sometimes that can, just sitting down and thinking about it, reading through the bill, reading through things can give you some ideas. Reading through the background information can give you some ideas of the vocabulary that is used. Sometimes the words that you're thinking of are not necessarily the words that the experts are using. So doing some background reading before you start your in-depth research can be very helpful. So we're going to start out in OneSearch, and I'm going to do a search for concealed carry. Notice that I'm putting quotation marks around the words. That tells the database that we want these two words to be together as a phrase. It's still going to search for them individually, show them for you in the results individually, but the searches are going to have the words together. So we hit search, and then we'll get our search results. One of the interesting things about this particular resource is if your initial search is broad enough, you will get an encyclopedia article related to your topic. So that is called a research starter. So this is an encyclopedia article from Salem Press Encyclopedia about concealed weapons. And sometimes they can be fairly lengthy, and sometimes they're just really short. And so here's a section about concealed carry laws, the concealed carry debate, and a bibliography. So this can give you some information, some background on the topic. Now we'll notice that the first few articles listed here aren't really on our topic, concealed weapons at TSA checkpoints, but we're looking for the idea of concealed carry in schools and by employees. And you do have to spell things correctly. So notice when we added these extra words, our research starter disappeared, but instead of 160 some odd thousand results, we now have a little over 15,000. And the results seem to be fairly relevant to our topic. Some of them may still be talking about colleges, but you have quite a number of articles about concealed carry and school safety. Notice some of the subject headings. They have school policy, school safety, school violence, employee attitudes. That some of those may turn out to be valuable for you as you work through your research. So we have, how do we access these articles? Notice this says full text from Eric. Eric is a separate database, but we can click on the link and it should open up the article. Actually, in this case, this is a thesis. It is included in the thesis database. So you can look through this, and if you come across something that's really long like this, you don't have to read the whole thing. See if you can find an index. Use your find within page, which is Control F, in just about any resource that will help you identify keywords that you're looking for. So we have this next article. We have HTML full text and PDF full text. If you come across an article that has both, you would want to choose PDF full text because that is an easier format to use for your research because it has the page numbers. So if you're making if you're quoting something within a very long article, notice this article is 12 pages long and you're required to put the page number of the quote. This gives you that information. So always choose PDF over HTML. If all you have is HTML, then that's what you need to use. So if we take a look further at this article, we're going to click on the title of this article. We have the title of the article, the authors of the article. This is the journal that the article was published in, which is referred to as the source. This is the information that you need for your cited page. You can come over here on this page where it says Cite, and then you can scroll through down to whichever format you've been asked to use, usually either MLA or APA. And this is the system's approximation of what your citation should look like. You always want to make sure that you check your style manual to make sure that it's correct. Sometimes there's information missing. Sometimes there's information that is incorrect. I have seen citations that in the actual article, everything is in all capital letters, and there is no citation format that I know of that allows for all capital letters in the title of the article. Once you've found an article that you like, let's go back into this, you can email this to yourself. When you email an article with a PDF full text link, the PDF will be an attachment to your email. And you also want to take a look over here where it says citation format and choose the appropriate format, usually either APA or MLA. And then the citation that we just looked at will be included in your email. You want to put in your email right here and then hit send, and that will be in your email, which is a really good way to collect, especially if you're searching at several different times. It helps you keep track of what you've got. So here we have an ebook. Same thing, don't avoid books because they can be very useful. You don't have to read the whole book, remember that. If we want to say, okay, we only want what's in full text, this may or may not eliminate the ebooks. It will definitely eliminate the books in the library's catalog that you would have to come to the library to check out, because yes, they're full text, but it's in a physical full text, not a digital full text. If you've been told you need to only use peer-reviewed materials, that would eliminate the periodicals and the newspapers, and also possibly the books. You can check these boxes. You have this date range here. So the earliest article in our results list is from 1901. We can move this slider and see what happens to our results list. So 1995, that didn't take out a whole lot of articles. A lot of the really, really old things are kind of false hits. But if you've been told you only need materials from, say, the last 5 years or the last 10 years, this is an easy way to narrow down your results list, especially if you have a very large set of results. You can take a look at your subjects. With our fairly small and fairly targeted search, our subjects are fairly on point. Down here it says show more. So we have the list of all of the subject headings. They're in the hit count, the number of times that this subject heading occurs in our 15,000 list of results. If you want to, like me, if you need them in alphabetical order, you just click on where it says name, and then it sorts into alphabetical order. And then and you still have the hit count over here, but you have an alphabetical list that can be easier to scroll through and find a particular topic that you might be thinking of. Is this in the subject that I'm looking for? All you need to do is just check the box for the subject term that you want to add and say update. Because these are fairly small, you probably don't want to select too many a single time. So now all of our results have our keywords, concealed carry, schools, and employees, and a subject term of National Rifle Association, as we can see right here. If we look at these and say, well, these don't really fit what I'm looking for, you can change that back. Just click on the X next to the subject, and then we're back to our original set of results. You can also select subject headings from your results list. So let's say we want to see school policy. If we come up here to where it says advanced search, and we open up these additional search boxes, and we put our school policy in our search, and then we can select a field and say we want it to be a subject term, and then we search. And so that is another way to add subject terms to your search. And notice we have 67 results where we have school policy and with concealed carry, schools, and employees. If you decide you want to take schools out, now that we have school policy as a subject term, you can just come up here and delete this here and do our search again. And you notice that didn't make any difference in our search results. If we were to change the subject term here, it might to something that doesn't have the word school in it, that might affect the search that we have. With the advanced search also, You notice this list of disciplines down here. This is another way that you can make changes to your results list, especially if you have a very, very large set of results that you need to narrow down. Different disciplines, such so you have biology and education, mathematics and marketing, social sciences, different things like this. They all have sets of subject terms that they use in the journal that are published in those particular subject areas that affect the results. So this is a way that I like to use to narrow down my results if I have a very, very large set of results. And it also targets the subject headings a little bit more narrowly so that you get a better set of subject headings. A lot of times with very broad searches, you'll have subject headings like United States and nonfiction, which don't really help you refine your topic or your search results in effective ways. So using one of these discipline categories can help narrow things down. So let's see, let's select law. We come scroll down here to the bottom and hit search. And we had our 67 results are now down to 4. So our search results now, you can see this is our search terms, concealed carry, employees, and the subject term of school policy. These expanders are automatic. You can undo them and limited to a discipline of law. And this may have narrowed down things too far for you. So again, you just click on the X and that takes us back to our results list. If you decide you don't want the subject school policy, you just come up here and delete it. And then we do our search. Let's see what happens without our word schools. So without our word schools, we have 25,000. So now we just got concealed carry and employees, but it's not focusing on schools. So we would probably want to add our term back. So that took out about 10,000 results. So you have to kind of be aware of what your search terms are, what the results you're getting are. You find other words in the title or in the, you can add any of the words that are in these subjects. So we could add the word weapons just as a keyword. You don't have to choose one of these areas here. You can just leave it as this and just adding that as a keyword term. Now the keywords, it's not only searching the information that we find here. You've got the title, you have your subject terms and all of this, your abstract. The abstract can help you decide really quickly without having to open the article. But your keyword search is not only searching this information, it's also searching the full text of your article or your ebook. So you may not see the words in your search. You'll notice that the words that are in your search are in bold. So you can see how these words are showing up. So let's go back to our research guide. We've gotten started. We've figured out our search terms. So we have the helpful databases. Notice that CQ Researcher and OneSearch are on this list. If your topic is something that's more subject-oriented, you might want to choose one of these other databases. Academic Search Complete is just a standalone database. OneSearch searches multiple databases, the library catalog, the internet, certain resources that are available on the internet that are either free or available to us through agreements that we've made or decisions that we've made to include resources in OneSearch. So OneSearch is always a good place to start. Academic Search Complete is just a smaller group of things. Academic Search Complete is included in OneSearch. So don't worry that if you choose OneSearch, it's not going to search any of these resources. I don't believe that it searches CQ Researcher. So you would have to search that on your own. Also, there's a search box here for OneSearch. So you don't have to go back to the library's homepage or click on here. So there's multiple ways to get to OneSearch. There's also a link to Google Scholar, which is a Google version of academic materials. You can also search regular Google for information, and we can try our regular search, the search that we did in OneSearch. And let's see what happens in Google. Now, so we have radio and television news websites, because this is a very hot topic right now in Idaho. So you've got, especially the Boise newspapers and things. Here's an article from the NRA. So you see what they have to say. We have other websites here. We've got the Giffords organization. Gabby Giffords was a member of Congress who was shot at a campaign event. So she and her husband have started an organization. We have different websites here: Boise State Public Radio, the National Conference of State Legislatures. Some of these are reputable sources and others are not. The RAND Corporation is different things like this. So Education Week. When you're searching Google, you do need to be aware that you're going to run across extremely biased one way or the other sites, as well as some sites that are providing information in just an informational way. So let's take a look at, here we go. So we've got our locating material, evaluating material. On this guide, there are 3 different methods for evaluating material. They all basically do the same thing. We have the CRAP test, we have radar, and we have score. And you'll notice the different types of materials, the rating information that we have. On most of them, we have currency. How recent is the information? Can you tell on a website? Is there a date that tells you when that information was created? This can be important. If the data was written 20 years ago and this is a current topic, the information may or may not really be relevant. Relevance is something that's more related to what your topic is and how well the information that is presented assists you in writing your paper or constructing your speech. The authority. Who wrote this? Can you tell who wrote it? On an organization webpage, do they tell you who they are and what their purpose is for providing this information? This is what can tell you if a site is biased or not. Can't get to that tab again. We'll just do this all over again. So if we take a look at the Giffords site, you're always on a website looking for their about. Will tell you who they are and what their purpose is. So their mission is to do this. They want to end the gun lobby's stranglehold on the political system. Get to know us. So this information, you take a look at this and you determine if this is a website that the information is something that will benefit your argument. If it's not, then you wouldn't have to use it. But the about page will tell you who they are, what their purpose is, and how you would go about determining whether you wanted to use their information or not. Or, in the case of an article, who is the author and what are their qualifications? So if we take a look at one of our articles here, let's see if this one has. So this one doesn't have any information. Sometimes there will be information about an institution, an educational institution or research facility that the author is affiliated with. So you can, but usually with periodicals, that is not the case. Let's see if we can find it. There we go. And this one does not either, but usually it will be up here. So you can tell what their affiliation is and, are they writing on a topic that they have expertise in? Then you also, with the authority, you have the website domains. .edu are restricted to institutions of higher education in the United States. So if you see a .edu, you know that it's someone from a university or a college, like isu.edu. .gov is originally was used for departments of the U.S. federal government, and now some states are allowed to use the .gov domain. So idaho.gov is the official website for the state of Idaho. And then the different federal agencies will have a .gov website. .orgs has to be an actual organization. There's a process that they have to go through to be allowed .org domain. So the Giffords.org is a little bit more reputable than if it were a .com. So the accuracy, hopefully you've read enough information. You've read your background information. You've read a number of articles, all of the articles that you read kind of have the same type of information. You come across an article, that has something totally different that looks a little suspicious, you might want to kind of take a look at it a little more closely and figure out, does the person that wrote this actually really know what they're talking about, or are they trying to skew the whole topic one way or another? Either written an article, but there are no sources. In reading the article or the web page, there's no information that gives you an idea of where this is coming from. So accuracy is one thing. And then we have purpose. Why are they writing this? Are they writing it to inform you? Or are they writing it to sell you something? Is it to entertain you? Is it a biased site that's trying to persuade you to their particular point of view on whatever the topic is? Are the intentions clear? This can be, again, with the about page on a website, or in the introduction of an article or of a book, giving you the information of what their purpose is in writing the thing that you're reading. And then do you notice any biases, or is the article, the point of view, objective or impartial? So these are things that you can consider when you're looking at the sources that you find, especially when you're looking at sources from the web. And even though the words are different, they essentially mean the same thing. No research, or are they just regurgitating something that somebody else did? What is the reason and who the expertise? It's, like I said, the same types of things. Some people don't like the crap test because of how you have to say it. Okay, and then sometimes what we want to take a look at might be statistics on our topic, or polls. Now, polls, we have the Pew Research Center and the Roper Center, so you can take a look at those. Some of the government websites, you've got the Census Bureau, Bureau of Justice Statistics, Uniform Crime Reports, will have statistics. Another thing to think about is using Google. So if we were to do concealed carry and then do statistics, and plus, use the plus sign, your topic. And then we have sites that have statistics for concealed carry. So if you need statistics for your speech, this is a good way to find them. Now, if you want a government website that has statistics, you could the word cite, a colon, and then .gov. And this is going to give you government websites that have statistics about concealed carry. And notice striking out statistics. And it looks like this didn't work very well for this particular one, but we had some really good results with just the search that we did. And then we have a section on citations. So here we have links to your style guides. If you don't have one in hand, you haven't been required to purchase one. We do have the paper guide here in the library. If you need further help with your research, make sure that you contact the library. We have many ways to contact us. When you first come onto the library's webpage, this little pop-out will come up. Do you need help? Chat now. If there's someone monitoring chat, they will get back to you right away. Chat is not available 24 hours. And it's not available on the weekends. So if you need help, you need to contact the library in the middle of the day rather than at 3 o'clock in the morning. But using the library resources, you can do your research whenever you want. If you are off campus, not in campus housing or in the library or one of the classroom buildings, you do need to authenticate yourself to the library's website. You do that using your ID number and your last name, and then you will have full access to anything that you would have as if you were on campus. And other ways to contact the librarians, you can call the reference desk. You can come into the library and contact someone at the reference desk. The reference desk is open from 9 to 5, Monday through Thursday and it's not open on Fridays, but we are available on chat on Fridays. So you can email an individual librarian, or there is also an email reference service. So you email the reference department and they will get back to you. It's not as fast as chat, but if you're in the middle of the night doing your research, that would be the easiest way to get in touch with us. So remember, if you have questions or you need additional help, we're here at the library and we're available to help. I hope you have a good time finding research and information for your speeches, and we'll hope to see you soon.